Cowboys versus Aliens or whatever that train wreck of a movie was?
No.
Out of all the movies we talked about today, that's the movie you want to watch.
Die Hard is not scary because John McClane has a gun and can fight and knows what he's doing. They got Confederate flags everywhere down there. I'm like, you guys know the only reason you're not Virginia anymore is because... 3, 2, 1. It's like a subversion because usually I go down, up, down, but I went down, up, up.
I should have poured myself a drink.
So speaking of which, today I don't have a beer because of absolute tragedy. I thought I was going to, and then I got bamboozled. You'll find out why in a minute. So instead, I just soaked these blueberries in vodka all day, and I'm now eating them.
Ooh, that sounds dope.
That
sounds really good. Actually, that sounds really freaking good.
Yeah, I put some Sprite in the cup, so they're like floating. I'm just like sucking them off the top. It's pretty great.
Nice.
Oh, you are probably an
sucking them off the top. Also named my first album.
There it is. Also the title of your sex tape.
Title of my first album, actually, but.
I mean, those were the same thing. It was a really weird choice for you to like have your sex tape be your first album.
Yeah, it's a concept album, you know.
But hey, I thought
Honestly,
it was cool. I thought it was really unique.
It's a power move.
Yeah, I thought it was a
More
really
bands
unique,
need to do that.
And you owned it. Good on you.
Yeah, exactly.
I respect it. I respect
it's a concept album. The concept is getting laid.
Speaking of concepts, welcome back to Off the Air. I'm Dan.
I'm Jackson.
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you like that.
Yeah, no, I was like, no one will expect Jackson to willingly volunteer to be the second person to interrupt or to introduce himself.
I don't even deserve to have a name at this point. That was just,
to be fair,
I've been got.
To be fair, did you ever deserve to have a name?
I think
or was it
so.
just a name that you were given?
No, I think Noah probably deserves to have a name.
I think I deserve to have a name as well.
I mean,
this one was like hyper masculine Viking things where like, if you don't get to name yourself at the age of 6, screaming into a cliff, you're not a real man.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. Wait, that's not how it worked for you guys?
No, but that's how some people on the internet actually think life should be.
I mean, to be fair, we all did name ourselves in some way. Like I've had this name since I was 12. So
like we don't eat bones anymore, and that's good. Okay, when we eat Jell-O, we eat bones, but like a lot of the time we don't eat bones.
What, you've never sucked bone marrow?
I was about to say I know some people that like bone marrow on toast.
Bone marrow is fucking great.
Under or overrated only because of how pricey it is.
That's because that's why you do it as like you don't go out and buy bone marrow. You just make something, leave the bones, and then eat the marrow.
Yeah, but then I just feel like a Viking, and I don't want to feel like a Viking because I want to feel like a dandy.
Well, got good news for you, bud.
You don't have to tell me. I already heard the good news. Speaking of church.
Of our good Lord Jesus Christ.
Speaking of our good Lord Jesus Christ, I spent the last week in West Virginia. I almost said the good state by accident. Which is crazy to me that West Virginia is like one of the most redneck states. But the reason it split off from Virginia was to fight for the end of slavery.
Yep.
Like, did you guys forget about that? Like, what happened in West Virginia? Like, y'all just like, they got Confederate flags everywhere down there. I'm like, you guys know the only reason you're not Virginia anymore is because you didn't want Confederate flags. And now...
You know, that actually reminds me. You were singing that lovely John Denver song a little bit before we were recording.
Yes.
All the landmarks mentioned in that song are not in West
hardly
Virginia.
In West Virginia, yeah.
Yeah, they're in Western Virginia, and that makes me very happy.
Well, some of them are in West Virginia. Like the Blue Ridge Mountains do run through West Virginia, but very, very rare on the most eastern part of the state.
Whereas almost every landmark is squarely within Virginia.
Yes, it's Western Virginia.
Makes me happy.
Unfortunately, John Denver, big dumb head. Great artist, and I love him. Anyway, West Virginia, I was there 5 days. What do you guys, when I say West Virginia, outside of stereotypes about the people, what do you think of in terms of events?
I
remember... Oh, go ahead, you first.
I was gonna say, I have a couple of friends who live down that way, so I've been a couple. I'm more, to be honest, more than anything, I think of it as a like in the context of like being near DC is really what I think of it as.
Oh, see, I was in Western West Virginia, like next to Ohio,
no.
Charleston for the most part. Noah, you got any guesses?
I just remember that my boss, one of the most progressive people I've ever worked for, came from West Virginia, and it just amused me to death.
All right. Well, neither of you guys hit the nail on the head that I was looking for.
Well,
and that nail is not a nail at all, but rather a man. And not a man at all, but rather a Mothman.
You wanted me to nail the Mothman?
I mean, don't we all want to nail the Mothman?
Mothman is actually a West Virginia legend.
You know, if you get Monster Prom 2, I think by the time this episode comes out, the Kickstarter will be long gone. But Monster Prom 2 has Mothman in it, so you can definitely bang the Mothman.
So, Mothman is a West Virginia cryptid, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's cool. You know, you go to West Virginia, you can go to Mothman. But that's not all I did when I was there. I went to Point Pleasant, West Virginia. home of the Mothman.
Oh.
In fact, I avoided posting this on Instagram or Facebook just so I could surprise you guys.
That is the
Not
greatest
Dan, but
image
Noah.
I have ever seen.
The image I just sent these two
Holy
is of
fuck.
a Mothman pizza found at the Village Inn Pizza in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And it is a pizza that is just a standard pizza, but the toppings are arranged to make it look like Mothman.
I like how it's a big pile of pepperoni in the middle with some mushroom wings, jalapeno
Mushroom wings.
eyes. Is that what those
Jalapeno
are?
eyes.
And then,
I think they were more banana peppers, but they
okay,
were very
banana
like
pepper eyes.
they were like half cup banana peppers.
And then these just 2 little strings of green pepper for the moth tail.
Those are his feet.
His feet.
I think.
I'm sorry.
Pretty sure those are his feet. Trust me, I ate Mothman's feet. I sucked Mothman's toes.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. So I've got some classic images to send with you guys. The first one, the Mothman pizza, is classic. If you're not watching via YouTube where they're going to be on the screen, feel free to just check my Instagram, which is instagram.com/Jacksonium with 2 M's, where all of these images will be posted in a batch. There are some classics here, such as the Mothman statue. Now, the Mothman statue is cool because it's just this shredded Mothman. He's just like this buff, like 7-foot tall man in the middle of Point Pleasant. This is like in the middle of the town square. Now, it's a town of like 5,000 people, so it's not like poppin'. But in the center of the town is this Mothman statue. And the most impressive part about it is Mothman's got cake. Like, Mothman has a thick, like, he's dummy thick. Mothman is dummy thick. That's why he couldn't get that many victims, because they would hear the sound of his ashes clapping before he got to them.
Oh my gosh.
It's canon.
Now I'm
Yeah, the Mothman statue was pretty cool. There was a little restaurant that had Mothman-shaped cookies. It was a coffee shop. That was pretty cool. I didn't get any because I'm not really a cookie guy, but I did eat the Mothman pizza, and that was great. Any questions about Mothman Town?
No, all I can think of when I think of Mothman is in the context of, I believe it was it Fallout 76 that had Mothman as like a
that's because
thing?
it takes place in West Virginia.
Well, yeah, yes, but that like is all I think about when I think of it.
Yes, there was
fact, the
some sort of
Mothman
Mothman
Museum-
reference in that game, though.
The Mothman Museum is a place you can go in Point Pleasant in the game Fallout 76, and they have exclusive Fallout 76 posters that they sell at the Mothman Museum, which I went to.
Nice.
It was pretty cool. I got a bar key, which if you don't know is like one of those bottle openers with a ring that bartenders spin on their fingers so they get to feel fancy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wooden and it has like Mothman engraved on it. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
So yeah, it was a nice little like highlight day of the trip. I got plenty of other highlights to go over though, namely, I got kneed in the face in a ball pit.
Oh,
There are questions here. Question 1: why were you in a ball pit? I'm not judging. I'm just confused.
And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't judge at all. It's a great place to be.
Yeah, no, ball pits are fucking great, except for
You
the
will
part they're full
never
of
guess
children's pee.
Why I was in a ball pit,
was it because you were
or
at Dave
why
and
I was
Buster's?
fine? Oh no, this was in my friend's house.
Wait, your
friend-
friend's house has a ball pit?
Had a ball pit. Yeah, so basically they had this room in their house that was his little brother's like playroom, and his little brother was like a little kid. You know, they put toys in there and
Yeah.
just hang out and play Spyro or whatever. But his brother's like 15 now, and they haven't used the room in years. It was just like full of like old dusty toys and unused. And so for his brother's for Christmas, my friend's mom bought a whole bunch of balls and a whole bunch of like those like parkour foam cubes, and like emptied out the room, like gutted it, like put like a little padding down on the floor, and then filled it with balls and put like a gate on the door. So you have to like climb over the gate.
That's
But
amazing.
it's a ball pit in his house. It's so cool.
That is actually super dope.
I
Yeah, we
like
went in
that
it
a
like every
lot.
day I was there. Yeah, it was a really cool idea. I mean, it's a neat thing to do when you got like a 15-year-old who's not really is playing Fortnite on his computer. So, you know, I'm pretty sure my friend who is my age and back from college for the summer actually uses the ball pit more than his brother does, who just plays Fortnite. But yeah, it was cool as hell having a ball pit in the house.
Yeah, that's actually amazing.
Which is why it was like I didn't feel like it was gross going in there. Like I knew no kids were peeing in it. I knew nothing weird was going on. So I was like, yeah, let's go play in the ball pit.
Nice.
It was a dope experience. But I did get kneed in the face.
Important
So
question.
that happened.
Important question.
Yes. Mhm.
Would you fuck in a ball pit if given the opportunity?
No. Having been in a ball pit recently, no.
Okay.
Because now I know. It is far. It's like running in sand up to your like knees.
Yeah.
But the ball pit was like up to your waist. It's just like incredibly inconvenient moving around.
I feel like the secret to doing that is like just succumb to the ball pit. Like just let yourself.
That doesn't work as well as you think either.
Really?
Yeah, because then you can't see anything, and getting back up is a struggle too.
That's fair.
Ball pits are very inconvenient. Also, when you're under the ball pit, it's just sweaty.
That's
like when you first get
fair.
in, it's weirdly cold, and then by the end, it's just like everything's
How
sweat.
cool would it be to have a ventilated ball pit? Or like the bottom of it, or like the sides of it had like little grates that had like air conditioning.
It'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty dope. I'd be on board with that ball pit.
Yeah. But then you'd have to like be designing for the ball pit, where it's like, that's just a lot of work to have a ball pit in your house.
I mean, I feel like at the point where you're getting a ball pit in your house, just put the extra effort in,
Speaking of houses, though, in like 2 weeks' time, I'm gonna be a homeowner.
Hey, congratulations!
Well, that's right.
So that's neat. Yeah. So I actually just got a job too.
Nice,
Finally.
nice.
People have been yelling at me when I'm panhandling on the side of the road for years now. I finally did it, guys. I got a job. So thank you to all those angry old people who yelled at me to get a job when I was begging for change.
Yeah, man.
Not true. I was never panhandling, nor do I have anything against that. But I got a job, which is it's been like a 3-week search. Today was actually my first day, and Jackson's Beer Corner is about to get lit as hell.
Tell me you work at a bar.
Oh my gosh.
I'm bartending at a restaurant.
Nice.
With over 130 craft beers.
That's awesome.
amazing.
And every week they change. Like, not all of them, but like every week, like a new shipment comes in and some things go off the shelf.
Can you tell?
So it's got like a huge
I can censor
craft
this
beer
out, but can you tell me the name of the place?
I don't really. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I should say it just because it's like privately owned, but I'll just type it in chat.
Okay. Because I know this can't be it because this is the one I'm thinking of is on the way to Pittsburgh, but I stopped at a restaurant there, and I think it was called Pig Iron, to fit the Pittsburgh theme.
That's near Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
It's got like 150 draft beers.
Yes. And
yeah,
draft and
I've heard
craft being very easily confused in my head. I'm like, oh, Pig Iron, and I'm like, oh no, that wouldn't be it for multiple reasons.
Yeah, this place has like half a dozen draft beers, but then like tons and tons of like hard to find craft beers, which is super exciting. I didn't get any today because it was just day one. I didn't really want to like.
Yeah, you don't want to play those games right away.
Although, to be fair, like the entire place, like everyone's super about it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Everyone's like super about like the craft beer. Everyone's like, yeah, we out here. And since I'll be bartending there, it's pretty exciting.
That is super cool.
And it's less than half a mile from my house, which is the only reason I don't really want to give out the location.
No, yeah, that's totally understandable.
Otherwise, I'd be cool with it. But because you can see it from my house if you're on the roof. You can also see the lake from my house if you're on the roof. So that's cool.
That is very cool.
Unfortunately, you can't be on the roof because it needs to be redone, and also does all of the siding. So that's going to be like $20,000. That's cool. Whatever.
No big deal.
But
right?
still, homeowner.
And that's before any of the interior gets touched. So, whatever.
But at the same time, homeowner.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
that's
there's
awesome.
perks, and there's also like once you have like deed in hand kind of stuff, it's much easier to get like equity loans and things like that. So I'm not terribly worried.
Yeah, man. That's really freaking cool. That's very cool. I'm very jealous, if I'm being honest, but that's very cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun project.
That'll take you.
I'm gonna see if I can't convince one. It's a 3-bedroom house.
Ooh.
So I'm trying to convince one of my friends to like move in. I don't know who or how or when, but once it gets all fixed up, I'm looking for a roommate. Noah, if you want to live and record the podcast in the house, let me know.
That's tempting, not gonna lie.
There's plenty of barbershops there.
That's tempting too.
I think. I mean, there's probably not plenty, but there's probably like 5 or 6. It's bigger than the town you live in, which I don't know. You've talked about the town you live in before, right?
I have.
Corey?
Yeah.
Okay. I figured.
Yeah,
it's in Conneaut.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it was 2 weeks ago we talked about the fact that it's actually an incredibly low population town and it has been declining since the mid-90s, which...
Yeah, I actually haven't checked the statistics for growth in Conneaut, but it's like 10,000 people. So I will have the paperwork to say it's mine on the 16th, I believe. But obviously that's not in writing. So it's, it's a process, but it's an exciting one. And worst case scenario, I don't stay there forever, but I just use it as like passive income kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is always a good thing.
So,
passive income is hashtag goals.
Speaking of hashtag goals, well, not really, but I personally, a goal of mine is to catch new movies in the theater that I'm even remotely interested in, if they're in the horror realm, because I like to support the culture and all that.
Yeah,
Dan,
and you watched Bad Superman, right?
I did watch Bad Superman. And
not that it's bad quality. I don't know if it is, but that it's bad guy
Superman. So, firstly, whatever you think the movie is based off that description is exactly 100% what it is, and it is not any more than that.
It's literally in Kansas.
It is.
The state with a population, the state has a lower population than Philadelphia or Austin.
That's fantastic.
And they think they can get away with being like, we're going to put a superhero here. And in the same state Superman's from, and have people not compare it. He's also an alien that gets found and fostered.
I mean, I don't even think it was supposed to be subtle.
No, it definitely wasn't. I read a couple of interviews. I don't remember the details and quotes, but
okay, as long as they weren't thinking they were sneaky.
No, they weren't at all. They were not even remotely
they were like,
thinking they were sneaky.
We made that Superman.
All right.
That's cool.
No spoilers, Noah. What'd you think?
I give spoilers.
No spoilers. Okay, well, yeah, no spoilers, because I don't want people to have to like skip through to avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
Like I said, the movie is exactly what you think it is. In the first like 7 minutes of the movie, something is said and you're like, oh, this is the plot of the entire movie. I get it. And it turns out that guess is correct. It is the entire plot. However, this movie had far better gore effects than it has any right to have. It was actually really good. And not good in this is a film that will stand the test of time. It was really good in the sense of this being a movie that would it's just a fun time.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated how fun it was. Now,
the other
guy who was in the theater. Now, I went to a theater and there were 3 people at my showing. A big 3. I was there.
Jesus, that movie came out like a week ago.
Yeah, I was there on opening night. I was there and then
opening night.
And then one person came, or then this couple came in like 2 seconds before the movie started. They sit down. We watch the movie together, and I'm sitting here like, yeah, oh, this is fun. Credits roll, and this dude stands up and says, well, this was a gigantic waste of my money. And his wife was like, what are you talking about? This movie was perfectly fine. And I feel like that's pretty much the only reaction you're going to get out of anyone who saw this movie was either one or the other.
Perfectly fine or the worst.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I think it's all mentality based. Like if you go into it thinking you're going to see the next Avengers, which
you're not looking at the beginning of Bad Guy Avengers. There is some neat world building at the end of the movie.
Please tell me they don't have world building at the end of the movie.
No, it expands the universe in a way that's
not helping.
I know it in the sense that they could do another movie, but it does not leave it like, oh, bet you want another movie now, don't you? It just expanded it in the sense of, oh, here's what happens after the movie, which was pretty neat. Also,
does it give you a little "where are they now" snippet?
I guess kind of.
He's like brooding in the corner. His mom's like, "Oh, Brightburn," and the movie ends.
somehow I'm gonna take a wild, crazy guess and say that there's a lot of people that die in this movie. And I'm going to take a wild, crazy guess and say parents are pretty high on that list. You do not have to confirm that.
I watched one of the trailers and his mom was like, he's our son, I love him. So I feel like she might not die, or she's going to try and betray him at the end and die, or she's going to have to kill him at the end or something. But since there's world building, that probably isn't going to happen. And that's the world building is that it's revealed that other people like him are out there.
Unless the world building is he fucks right off at the very end. Which, in my opinion,
what if he does the Matrix and just flies away?
No, don't elaborate. We're just spitballing.
The last thing I will say, though, is in a moment that made me cringe to death, but then helped me discover a song it turns out I really like. Billie Eilish's song Bad Guy started playing.
I don't like that song.
Billie Eilish is trash.
I like Billie Eilish in general.
I do not.
I do not like that song.
She is fine. I think anytime I've ever heard her talk, I just get really annoyed. It's incredibly apparent it's a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah.
You're just asking for trouble, giving her media attention.
I enjoy her music, though, because her production is on point. But the song Bad Guy started playing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, can we be a little more on the nose, please? Then I realized, oh, that's this whole movie. And it turns out I just really enjoy the song. I cannot tell you a single other song that she has ever put out.
I'm trying to remember as well, because I know I have listened to a couple of her stuff.
I've heard the song by her, Bury a Friend, about 600 times, and I'm not exaggerating. I was at a friend's house one time, and she put on this video that was 20 minutes of people just dancing to that song.
I do know that one.
And it was only like a 30-second snippet of that song. So I've heard 30 seconds of that song for 20 minutes, so 40 times in one sitting.
That's fair.
And, I didn't want to be rude until I turned the video off, because it was like the first time we'd hung out. And it was in like a group setting and everyone else seemed to be into it. But I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I actually don't mind that. Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
I can understand that.
Turns out the first time you
Also,
listen to a
isn't she
song,
just,
it
like-
should not be in the context of I'm watching this 70 times with a bunch of friends.
Isn't
that?
Little Peep for
Maybe?
white guys the same thing that Billie Eilish is for white girls?
Actually, I
Who?
would accept that. Lil Peep, we talked about him before. He's dead, but
Yeah, what do you mean, dude?
he did,
Cuba.
sad boy music. And
I
It
mean,
was more. His was more rappy though.
yeah, he was
Also,
a little more
love Lil
rappy.
Peep. Lil Peep's great.
He did attract a lot of the same community though.
I'm trying to see if
It's
I
like
recognize
kids
any
who
of
are
these names.
very mainstream but think that being emo is cool.
Mm.
Like your kids are like, yeah, I'm goth. Like, you're not really goth.
I used to think that I was goth when I wore my khaki cargo pants, but I had a black
God.
t-shirt and chains.
God,
You were,
I
Noah.
remember you actually, I think you had like a very short goth phase, Noah.
I mean,
Let me rephrase that. You had a very
It-
short phase
it
where
trend-
you leaned into goth.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that ended. I'm leaning much more into punk now because that is
That's
a
fair.
look I
I
can
think-
pull off smoother.
That's fair.
I just never go rockabilly, please.
No, don't worry. I'm not going to go rockabilly. That's not a
Okay.
look I plan on embracing.
I
don't think it would work for me.
I don't think you knew me when I was at my like emo phase when I would straighten my long hair. You may have seen me do it like once or twice because I did it as a meme every once in a while when I was older.
Uh-huh.
But like when I was like 13, my hair was really long and I'd straighten it like not every day, but like most every day.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad. It was real bad.
I'm glad that you're past that. And good job for you.
Thank you. I'm not past it mentally, but I'm past it in that I don't straighten my hair anymore.
You're past it
Because
physically.
if I straighten my hair now, I would look like what's the guy that secretly Ron Weasley's rat for the first like 4 Harry Potter movies? Harry Potter movies. You know the guy I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I
Yeah.
can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Peter
The
Pettigrew.
audience is probably mad at us for it.
Peter
but
Pettigrew. Yeah.
yeah.
I would look like Peter Pettigrew.
Oof.
If I
It's
straighten my
very
hair.
good. It's very, very good.
Or I'd look like Jason Alexander in that episode of Criminal Minds where he has long straight hair,
Noah,
but he still has like his
Noah,
horseshoe.
can you take the very first Google image search for Peter Pettigrew and just superimpose Jackson's face on it? Can that just be
Yeah.
something you do? Cool.
Can
Thanks,
you,
bud.
Yeah, that's on the screen right now for
Take-
anyone.
Okay,
These
cool.
broken
Thanks, bud.
wings
I appreciate
and
it.
learn to fly again.
I just made a note in my
Good.
audio to put it in, but I called it Peter Jackson. And I know that's going to confuse me later, but you better believe I'm not about to change it.
Peter Jackson. That's a
Speaking of hair, so I've had the same haircut since I came to college, roughly. I mean, it changes a little bit
sorry to
now
hear
and again.
about that.
No. I mean, yes, also, but because I kind of just have a specific kind of keep it longish, kind of messy, just let it hang out on my head kind of look. And it works most of the time. That's not true. It works like 70% of the time. That 30%, who boy, it looks like ass. I am now at the point where I feel like I just want to like do something totally different, but at the same time, I do not know what I want to do with it. And because here's the thing, right? I have a lot of hair, but the hair that I have is extremely thin. Like that's just a thing. And so a lot of hairstyles that I've wanted to try just can't work.
Mm-hmm.
No, Dan, you can't be Yugi.
No, not even. I wish. See, that's the thing is I can never have that.
See, I know.
You know?
That's
You
why I
know?
said it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's an obnoxious pain in my ass because I want to put effort in, but part of me really wants to just go in and just be like, make me beautiful. But I feel like that will never okay. So you know in movies, right, where they do like the whole makeover, like they always have the makeover, like not always, but when they have the makeover scene, like half the time it's just go in and make me beautiful kind of thing.
No,
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Pretty
Jackson
Woman
gets it.
style.
I don't
Yeah,
watch
I get
movies.
it.
That's fair.
Nerd girl takes off glasses, becomes hot.
Yeah, exactly. I straight up want to at some point in my life just be able to have a large enough amount of money to go shopping that I can walk into a like reasonably high end like clothing store and just be like, listen, you guys decide what I'm wearing now. That's what I want. Cause I care so little, but at the same time, like I care so little about picking the style that I want, but at the same time, I want to have a style so that I'm not just wearing jeans and t-shirts for the rest of my life.
Then I feel like if you don't care about it, it's
I
not
can't-
half as fun to have it.
I care enough. Let me phrase that. I guess I care enough that I know that I have no style, but I also don't know how to find a style without
Just
just
watch Queer Eye.
That's
Shoot,
not.
you got you there.
I am not wrong. Because their whole thing is they teach like straight dudes who want style but don't know how to have style some important tips.
I mean, that's
our
fair.
style.
The longer I originally I was like, but now no. The more I think about it, that's not a terrible idea.
Thank you.
I mean, you're a
Right.
terrible idea, and your life is a terrible idea. Speaking of terrible ideas,
Why are you so negative? But continue.
Speaking of terrible ideas, while Noah was off seeing Brightburn, I almost said Brightheart. I don't know why. Brightburn,
Because it was almost as good as Braveheart. But continue.
That's fair. I went and spent an entire 6-hour sit in the movie theater session with Dave, who's been on the podcast, and our friend Brian.
Did you buy all 3 tickets?
I did, actually.
Coward.
Yes, but also, well, I'll get to it. So that
in this house we steal from rich people.
See, but that's the thing is that the first movie I was going to buy to get in. The second movie I probably could have snuck in, but there was a half-hour break in between the first and the second movie, and I wasn't going to just sit in the theater for half an hour and just to try and sneak into the next movie. I just didn't want to put that effort in.
Yeah,
and I also wanted to refill on my popcorn. And the third movie was Aladdin, and it was opening night, and there was no way I was sneaking into that. They had security going back and forth the entire time.
Dun, 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 dun,
I probably could have done it, but I'm glad I didn't because I would have been anxious
we steal
about it.
From Disney.
Okay, so first I went and saw Detective Pikachu, which so I put out some rapid fire movie review stuff on Twitter when I went and saw it. But I want to have either of you seen it yet?
Yeah, I talked about it last week on the podcast.
It was pretty okay, right? It wasn't.
I think it's the best video game movie to date.
I agree,
and that makes it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I would have put it probably a 6.5. But yeah, I think the CGI was phenomenal.
Yeah, my brain wants to put it at an 8 because I had a really, really fun time watching it.
I did too.
That's because I watched it with really cool guys.
Yep.
And I feel like the actual movie itself is, I'd say a 6. But
yeah, I would agree 100%. I think the plot was meh. There was a lot of heart to it, which I actually was pleased.
Ludicolo was the only thing that I hated.
Who?
Also the plot twist.
Yeah, the plot twist I saw coming from 2 miles away, but
I didn't. I mean, I could have. But it was just such a dumb and out of place plot twist when there were so many other obvious solutions that it was dumb to me.
Yeah, was very not happy with it. But I overall was pretty good. If you haven't seen it yet, go see it. Like I said, the CGI was really fucking good in the movie.
Dude, Detective Pikachu is so cute.
He is so cute, and so many of the other Pokemon are simultaneously cute and terrifying in different measure, and they did a really good job of showing that. I think.
Yeah, most of them I think are good. Outside of Ludicolo, who is terrible.
Isn't that the one that was used for all of the covers of the article about accidentally showing a horror movie?
Yes, Ludicolo is abhorrent.
I love
Which
Ludicolo.
one is that?
That's the one that's the bartender who just has no soul.
That was the funniest thing.
That doesn't even look like a Ludicolo. That doesn't even look or resemble or have any similar textures that a Ludicolo would have. The rest of them were on point with their description of the Pokemon.
I don't know, man. It kind of worked. I get what you're saying.
It didn't look like Ludicolo.
If
I had never seen it before and I were to just see that and it didn't say Ludicolo, I'd be like, that's an abomination.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's a duck in a hat.
Exactly. And Ludicolo is not just a duck in a hat. He's so much more. He's my friend.
I feel like it's also because you don't see his bottom half is why he looks so
you do
out
a
of
little
place.
bit.
Yeah, but not by...
He had no maracas, man.
That's true.
Ludicolo is never pictured without maracas. He's always singing.
I'm actively looking right now I literally just looked him up and I don't see a single image of him with maracas. So
wow, you're missing out, man.
That's fine though. But yeah,
you're losing out.
CGI was great. Story was okay. A lot of heart. Acting was fine. Nothing really one way or another to be amazed at. Oh shoot! I guess I shouldn't say that's a spoiler. The twist that wasn't the one you were mad about. The one about fucking. I'll just message it to you.
Don't check your messages.
I mean, I'm not checking Noah's message. I'm checking your message.
I mean, you can say it now, and I'll just remove it. Go ahead.
Next up, I went and saw John Wick Chapter 3, which you guys,
Parabellum.
I got a real big question for you, and this is gonna ruin the entire movie.
I haven't seen the first two.
Do you want to watch Keanu Reeves kill a whole lot of people?
Oh, isn't that just the first two?
I'm gonna tell you a secret. It is in fact the first two, and it is in fact the third one. Although I felt like the third one was better than the second, personally.
I haven't watched any of them because I know the dog dies in the first one, so I just don't really want to watch it.
Honestly, my girlfriend is the exact same way, which I think is fair. It makes you a little sad because I think that both her and you would enjoy it.
I think so too, but
no, I think it's a
after
very
I Am
fair.
Legend,
No, I think it's a really fair reason to not watch a movie.
Wait, do they show the dog die?
It's off screen, but you hear it.
Oh no, I'm not watching that.
It's rough. It's actually real rough. But it
Although
works.
I will say,
Go ahead.
Throughout the course of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I think like 60 dogs get killed in the first 3 parts.
That's animated though. I feel like that's a different.
It's true. It's very different.
I feel like that's a very different thing because this dog is like, is a cute pupper. Yeah, John Wick Chapter 3 was good. Cinematography in this one I think was the best of all of them, or the fight choreography rather. They did the story to me was a little weak. I think it might be the weakest of. No, I think the second one was weak. It was super fucking weak. I did not like the second one comparatively.
Well, how many times can you just have Keanu Reeves kill a bunch of people and have the story mean something?
Yeah, well, that's. I mean, it's not spoiling.
You ever seen more than one Die Hard?
It's not. That's the thing. Is I'm not spoiling it if I say that like the story becomes very circular across all 3. Like each one kind of starts and ends at the same spot, which is fine, but it also is.
This is the last one though, right?
No, they've confirmed a 4th one. But so no spoilers. There's a thing that happens near the end where they could have decided to end the series in a very cool, interesting way that everyone would have been happy with, and I'm like 77% sure that was the original script, and then they decided they were going to make a 4th one and change it last minute.
Kills the bad guy's dog.
He does not. Thank God.
No, I mean, what a terrible plot twist that would be.
The movie is definitely the most brutal of the 3. I guess it's not really a spoiler if I say that how somebody dies. One of the people John fights is he kills him with a fucking book, and at one point he like visibly
talk about Facebook,
visibly shoves a book into the guy's mouth and twists it to break his jaw. And it is brutal.
Is it a small book?
No, it's a big book. It's like a big Bible.
The book wouldn't fit in his jaw.
It was a big enough book that him shoving it in his mouth would have the movie was definitely brutal to the point where I was sitting with Dave and Brian, and at different points like the entire audience was like, oh shit, or like there was audible reactions to the violence, which it didn't feel necessarily over the top. It just felt also very on brand for the series.
Audible reactions to the violence is the first name of my debut album. The only name of my debut album, I guess.
Audible reactions to violence is a pretty solid
That's
album.
That's the name
title.
of my revolution. Where will you be?
Let's see. What else can I not spoil about that movie? Yeah, I don't know. It was fine. Don't go. Okay, so with all John Wicks, I think they're all good. I think they're all really well-made action movies. I also think that all 3 of them, in terms of plot, are very kind of basic. They work really well, and they like. I'm not saying it has to be like a wild, crazy ride beginning to end. It's very setup motivation. Keanu kills people. Setup new motivation is basically how the thing goes. I think this one in that sense was really weak. I'm trying to remember how the second one went, and it might actually be weaker plot on this one than the second one. But all in all, great movies. I love the hell out of them, and because I don't really watch a ton of action movies, but Keanu Reeves is who I want to be my dad. That's all, and also my daddy, but mostly my dad. Can we talk about? Well, I'll talk about Keanu in a minute. The last movie I went to see was Aladdin, and I have thoughts. I have lots of thoughts because I brought it up on the podcast, I think,
Is it the
2
Disney
weeks ago.
underpaid the original creators?
What?
Nothing.
I didn't hear what you said.
I'm just bad-mouthing Disney.
I mean, that's fair. I actually thought they did a really fucking good job. Okay, so original Aladdin, right? Like, we'll say it's a 9 out of 10 movie, right? It's a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 movie. It's a really good movie.
I don't know if I put it in 9 out of 10 category. For a kid's movie, 9 out of 10.
That's fair.
For an overall movie, like a 7 out of 10. I put slightly better than Detective Pikachu overall.
That's fair. I might be thinking I might have too much nostalgia tied up in it to really agree.
That's one of the ones I didn't really watch much as a kid. I watched it like once or twice, but it was not common.
That's very fair. I watched it. It was one of the ones we had on VHS, so that was one of the ones I watched a lot. So for me, I would say that the old Aladdin was 9 out of 10. I think new Aladdin was like a 7.5, maybe an 8. Like, it was really well done. The big things I've heard from other people that I do agree with is that Will Smith stole the show. He just did. He was just phenomenal, beginning to end. But his charisma carried the movie.
In the original, Robin Williams just stole the show.
No, and I agree. And I think that that's kind of my big, what I would like to not do is I don't want to compare him to Robin Williams because they were Will Smith was clearly influenced by Robin Williams, but it wasn't It wasn't
like
just
a remake.
It was a remake. It wasn't just it was a remake and reimagining, not just a remake. They went a couple of different directions. They actually did a really good job of doing, so one of the things Robin Williams performed, I'm going to compare it to Robin Williams anyway. One of the things Old Genie did really well was like move around the space really in interesting ways and just do weird, fun, like physical comedy that I didn't think was going to work in live action. And I actually think they did a really, really good job of it. Some of the CGI was a little hokey, and some of the song to, like, all the songs were great. Some of the song to screen things were a little especially near the beginning, but overall I think that did a really great job on that. I don't know if you guys have listened, but the entire soundtrack is on Spotify, and actually I'll make a hot spicy take. I actually think Will Smith's version of Arabian Nights might be better than the original.
Which one is Arabian Nights?
The very beginning, the very first, I come from a land from a faraway place where the caravan camels roam. That one.
Okay.
The one
you could have just said the Genie intro song, but okay.
The one that originally had the line where they cut off your ear if they don't like your face, which they pulled. They actually, that's the one thing they did really well, I think, is they made it a lot more politically correct without like sacrificing.
Now
Aladdin doesn't say the N-word in this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, there's some
Aladdin, we're gonna cut the line where you say the N-word.
There's a couple of uncomfortable implications with the original, and uncomfortable over stereotypical views of that culture in the original that are, if you go back and listen, you're like, oh wait, you can't, that's not okay.
Yeah. Like how they implied that Aladdin keeps one step ahead of the lawman.
Yeah, exactly. That one. Can't do that.
In this one, he keeps like a decent distance ahead of the lawman.
Yeah.
But like out of vision for the most part. Come on.
Yeah, man. Did you get to see it, Jackson?
No.
Okay. I mean, you're not wrong because you were describing it correctly. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Aladdin the Aladdin acting was great. A lot of people were saying that Jasmine, that like they could have called the movie Jasmine instead of Aladdin, and it would have, like, that Jasmine was just so good. I thought she was fine. I didn't think she was, like, she didn't break the movie. Like, she didn't make the movie for me. But that's personal preference. I also thought her songs were a little weak, but that is definitely that's probably heavily influenced by nostalgia and like me wanting just to have my original songs, and that's it. On re-listen, I've enjoyed them a lot more. What else?
Does the tiger kill anybody?
The tiger does not. The tiger's just kind of there, actually.
That's weak as hell.
Yeah, they kind of, Raja, I think his name is. They kind of didn't use him much. They have a new character. It's not really spoiling. How can I spoil Aladdin? It's Aladdin. I feel like I can safely say anything in this. They had a really cool plot line of where one of Jasmine's handmaidens Genie falls in love with, which was actually really fun and very like adorable. The movie has a really like heavy influence on like awkwardness and like that kind of like teenage meet a new girl guy want to impress them and want them to like you awkwardness, which I think they did really well. I don't know. I would go see it again. I think if you were concerned about it like not holding up to the original, I think yes, but also I think they did a really damn good job. And if your complaint was, I don't want to see it because it's not Robin Williams as a Genie, you're incorrect, and go see it anyway, because that's not a great critique in my opinion. Personal opinion. Yeah, I thought they did a really good job. I would give it, I think it was the second best movie. No, actually, I think it would be the best movie overall that I saw that day. Like across, like if you were taking every piece of it. I had the most fun in John Wick, but I definitely enjoyed the hell out of Aladdin.
But all in all, Brightburn was probably better.
I don't know that I can agree with that, but sure.
It was probably better.
I mean, that's fair. It might have been.
Yeah, I buy it.
I mean, it might have been. I will say also for Aladdin, it's getting a lot of like negative press on like Rotten Tomatoes and stuff.
Is it because Aladdin doesn't say the N-word?
It's because he doesn't, yeah, and they really wanted that.
Yeah, dude, people would be like, that guy's an SJW.
Oh, the other thing that they did that I actually enjoyed a lot more than I thought was Jafar. A lot of people had problems with Jafar in the trailer, and I was one of them, and I think that they did a pretty good job. They actually that's the other thing, they gave Jasmine and Jafar actual characterization rather than just, I am a princess who wants love, and I am a bad guy. Which is fun.
There's bad guy, McBad guy over here, and princess.
Yeah,
Jafar's character really develops this in this movie, especially because you get to see him, and Aladdin actually watches him post something about white nationalism on Twitter.
Again, like you keep saying like the beginning of something that I 100% agree with. Like you start off in such a good, strong place.
He's not saying overtly racist things.
Actually, he does.
But he's still
very
calling
racist.
For a white ethno
no, he's
state.
Actually extremely
so it's kind
racist.
Of like, Jafar, you're wrong and terrible.
His whole thing is him being super racist against one of their neighboring countries and trying to go to war and kill all of them. That is.
But there's a level on which you think Jafar could be saved.
No, Jafar is super racist.
What if the end of the
Jafar
country
said
sucks?
we're all super racist now.
Dude, I love that part of the movie. Noah, I'm really glad that I have broken you
You know,
into that bit.
I'm sad because I come in here, I try to tell all the nice things, and Jackson starts off really strong. And he's like, "Yeah, I have this serious thought about the movie," and then he goes in a different direction. I'm just trying to
Yes, absolutely.
listen.
So when you were talking about how in John Wick 3,
Yes,
Parabellum,
am I about to hate you for whatever you're about to say?
Yes, you said like 70% through the movie, you thought there was like a point where like they could have ended the series.
It was like 80 to 90%, but yeah.
Okay, so like towards the end. But do you think that moment, like you don't have to spoil the movie, but do you think it would have been because John Wick looked at the camera and said, "We're all John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum now"?
Yeah, actually, that was the ending. I think would have been a lot better.
Yeah,
and then it would
instead
have just
he didn't
smash
say
cut
that.
to black and credits roll, and that would have been it.
What song would play?
Ooh, man, good question. Probably Never Had a Friend Like Me. The one with DJ Khaled.
Yeah, you think they would play that song? John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum?
Yeah, I think it
I
would.
buy it. So you guys have went out and seen
That
movies
actually
in the
was
theater.
a song over the end credits, and I hated it. I mean, I didn't hate it. It was just weird.
I did not watch any movies in theaters when I was in West Virginia.
Why would you? You're in West Virginia.
Yeah,
You've got other things to do.
We would have watched Godzilla had it been out, but unfortunately it's not out yet. I'm hype.
I'm actually getting real hyped for it.
Though.
Yeah, I
So
wasn't
next week
hyped
we'll
until
have
I
all seen
saw the.
Speaking of which, Noah, do you want to go see Godzilla?
I think I do, honestly.
When does it come out? I think it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Very soon, at least. Like this weekend.
It actually looks really good, and I'm angry because I wasn't on board until I saw some of the trailers before the movies this past.
I wasn't on
think
board
it's
until I
going to
heard the
be-
soundtrack, and I was so on board after that.
I don't think it's going to be good, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you're looking to watch a Godzilla movie, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
If you're looking to watch a movie that'll change who you are, it's going to be like bad. But if you want to see someone say, "It's a Godzilla's world and we're just living in it," it's going to be like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I would agree 100%.
So I did not watch any movies in the theater, but most nights we got somewhat inebriated and watched Netflix movies and
As
played
you
Super
should.
Smash Brothers.
Okay. As you should.
So I have watched most everything in the Netflix horror genre that looked corny.
Which is all of it, basically.
Yeah, but there's every once in a while like there's a movie that looks like it's actually trying. There was one that was like about a witch in Moldova.
Okay.
That one kind of sucked.
Oh my gosh. I don't mean to interrupt you, but Slasher Season 3 is out, and I'm so excited. I just opened up Netflix to see like what trashy horror movies popped up immediately for me. But Slasher...
I don't know what that means, but I'm excited for you.
So it's a Netflix TV series. Maybe it's not Netflix. Maybe it's like someone else that Netflix adopted. They claim it's an original, but you know how that can sometimes be.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Season 3 is out. I've been waiting for this for over like a year and a half, almost 2 years. This is really good. Oh, I highly recommend anyone who likes, horror stuff to check out Slasher. There's some uncomfortable stuff in one of the seasons.
Nice.
I can't remember. It's whatever season they're on the mountain, but I don't remember what season that is.
So I watched a lot of bad horror movies. And all of them we kind of like we ran over the facts, we looked at the numbers, and we looked at it to be bad. We made like drinking games for most of them, where like if someone says fuck, you drink, or if someone
Oh no.
abandons the group, you drink, or if someone has to take a leak, you drink.
Nice.
We did that with bad anime too. One of the rules was we were watching anime, and the rule was if someone gets punched all the way through and then dies, we all have to just finish whatever's in our glass. And lo and behold, it's like halfway through the series, we're all like pretty drunk. Everybody, 3 out of the 4 of us have like a full glass, and like out of nowhere, this girl gets donut hold.
Is that I don't like that as a term.
It's the term.
Yeah, that's what we call it. We call it getting donutted. But we were all like, oh shit. And then we had to chug like a whole bunch of liquor, and it was bad. I almost threw up, but I didn't.
I'm proud of you.
And yeah, I drank an entire bottle of vodka that night.
I'm proud of you for not throwing up.
It was a fun time. Anyway, that happened like 3 out of 4 nights I was in West Virginia.
Fuck.
Nice.
One movie stands head and shoulders above the rest as what I think was actually a good movie. It's The Babysitter.
I keep having people tell me about that, and I have not gotten around to watching it
It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. We put it on as the last movie of the night, just like to pass out, because we all thought it would be like, we didn't really care about it watching it. We thought it would be bad.
Yeah.
So we put it on. I fall asleep after like 10 minutes. Wake up like 10 minutes later. I don't know why. I guess my drunk body just craved water. So I wake up. Everyone else has passed out, and I can't really sleep. So I watched the entire movie by myself, not drinking. And actually, like, it was a really good movie. It wasn't like fantastic, but for like a Netflix or horror movie, it's one of the best I've seen. It's genuinely funny and genuinely scary. It's like Home Alone if it was Die Hard.
Nice.
So like Die Hard is not scary because John McClane has a gun and can fight and knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like he's got to pick people off and he's outnumbered by a lot. Home Alone is funny because it's Home Alone. It's like he's like, oh, slapstick. So the babysitter hits those Home Alone notes of like slapstick where like people are tripping over RC cars and like chasing this little kid. But they also genuinely want to kill him and maim him if they get their hands on him. And he's just got his house. So he's not like invincible. And it feels so like the fear and the actual horror comes from the very real sense that this kid is in danger and people have to die. So like either he dies or they die. So like there's like a real sense of like dread. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it. Kept me up till like 6 a.m. So that's how you know it's good.
Yeah, I mean that'll do it.
So that would be my out of all the movies I watched, that's my Netflix recommendation.
Out of all the movies we talked about today, that's the movie you want to watch.
Yep, it's on Netflix and fuck Disney.
Well, there we go.
You know what? Yeah,
I'll take it.
That's a fair place.
Nice. All right, good talk.
No, that's a fair argument, to be honest.
I need a Netflix account because I don't have one, as I mentioned every episode of the podcast. But I really want to watch the anime Little Witch Academia.
Does it have? I'm assuming that has absolutely nothing to do with My Hero. I say as I was about to ask, and then I realized no, it just means Academy.
It's like 2014. Yeah, it's like it's older than My Hero anime, but I don't think older than the manga. Unless it's based on a manga, then it's probably older than the manga too. It's like Harry Potter anime, kind of all girls school.
Okay.
Apparently, it's funny and cute and interesting.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'd probably
watch
watch
that, but I don't have Netflix.
I mean, I say I'd
I've heard
watch
good
that,
things.
but it would take me forever to get around to it.
I don't know if it's that many episodes. I think it's like 24.
That's not bad.
I mean, yeah, it's not the worst. It my computer just went like sleep mode, and it always jump scares me when that happens. 'Cause I think my computer's like shutting off.
Unfortunate.
Turns out your computer was in fact shutting off, and you just didn't know.
I mean, it's happened plenty of times before.
I know.
Never
that's why I
during a
said
recording though, thank God.
it. Why did you think I said it then? Like, of course, I know it happened. That's why I said it. You dummy.
Dang,
Didn't
you
happen
got
during a
you.
recording ever though. That would suck.
Yeah.
Like 50 minutes into a recording, your computer just shuts off.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Because I don't think there's a way to back up as you're recording. Maybe there's like a crash save. I don't know. I don't want to test it.
Audition does have a crash save. It just isn't great.
Yeah. Probably corrupts the file if I had to guess.
Sometimes, yeah.
Besides, he
Not
uses
that I would
Audacity.
ever know, because I would never. Oh, that's true.
That's what I'm
Audacity
saying.
probably does not. Yeah. I have no idea what Audacity doesn't have.
It's got a lot of free stuff. That's for sure.
Same?
I've actually got my Detective Pikachu stub on my desk right now.
I have all of my stubs in a box on the other side of the room.
I don't ever keep movie stubs. I don't really have any special feelings for them.
That's fair. I think that they have their place. Like,
Yeah, I feel like it would help me remember a lot of movies I've seen in theaters.
yeah.
Because I don't remember a lot of things I've seen in theaters.
I've found a couple movie stubs because I tend to save mine just because.
Yeah, it isn't like for a purpose, it just happens kind of thing.
And I've found ones for movies I don't remember at all.
Oh yeah, no, I probably would if I'd saved mine. Because there was a time in my life where I went to see a movie not every week, but a lot of the times on Sundays because I would go to church. And then church would be over, and I had my car, and then youth group was at the same night at like 6, but it was noon, and I live 45 minutes away. So I was like, do I want to drive home, hang out for an hour, and drive back, or do I want to go watch a movie for like $6 and drive back?
That's very fair.
So most every weekend I'd just watching a movie. Yeah. Or we'd do something else. Like I don't know, a lot of times because Noah was there for like a lot of the things we did as a group. We go watch like movies, movies. Go I went to the zoo a couple times. Got food a lot. Went to the mall. It was a good time. Kept me out of trouble.
There you go. Hey, that's what counts,
And
right?
I'm sure I don't remember most of those movies.
And speaking of staying out of trouble, I think that's what we should end the episode.
Okay. If you really want to end with staying
You
out
think
of
we're
trouble,
you think we're gonna get in trouble if we keep going?
probably,
No, I just
honestly.
think that we are all trouble, and the audience should stay
I
out
don't
of
think
trouble.
I'm trouble. Audience, you can get in me if you want.
There it was. Thanks, bud. Thanks
No
for
problem.
spitballing off of me like that. I appreciate it.
She's not gonna peg you, bro.
Now with that attitude, she's not. God.
Offensive joke incoming. Oh, we're actually about to get in trouble. How come the Pope always be praying to the Virgin Mary? Like, she's not gonna peg you, bro. Man, the Romans really were crazy, huh?
Yeah, man. The Romans were wildin'.
They straight wild. I had something else to say, but we probably should end the episode before I say something else.
Say something horribly offensive.
I mean,
oh no, it probably wasn't that offensive.
we need a little more runtime, and now I have to cut 5 minutes, so
Oh,
What do you
you
mean?
coward.
I'm just
You
saying.
have to cut 5 minutes.
Yeah, because
You
he's going to
don't
cut
like
the
my
whole
Pope
bit.
joke?
Well, so at the beginning of my recording, I have 4 minutes of stuff, and now here we are at like,
Oh, plus that Detective Pikachu spoilers.
Yeah.
We need way more rounds.
Yeah, so
That's why I
you're
wasn't
right.
doing an
About
episode
10
when
more
Dan
minutes.
wanted to.
All right, well, then cut all the things I said about this is how we end the podcast.
No, we can just steamroll
Don't
past
cut
it like
anything
we
I said
always
about
do.
pegging.
That's fair.
Don't cut anything I said about pegging.
Do
And
not.
by that I mean
also
cut
do not
everything I
cut-
said about pegging up to that point where I
also
just
do
say
not,
that line.
Do not cut anything about that I said about pegging.
Cut everything Dan said about pegging.
Listen.
You know what? Can you just take Dan's audio out of this track?
Listen, can I just be canceled already? Can I stop showing up for this?
Yeah, we can
Yes,
just
sister,
we can
you're
just
canceled.
take out Dan's audio like I did by accident a few times. I'll replace him with that trombone again because I recently got messaged by somebody who apparently had never listened to that episode, and they listened to it for the first time, and they're like, "You know that episode, Christmas beer and chainsaws or something?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "That thing you did with Dan's voice at the end was so funny." And I'm like, "Oh, that's the one where Dan sent me his audio and it was just missing the last 40 minutes." No, it was missing half of your audio.
Ah, yes.
It was incredibly stressful. And you were actually wholesome in that episode. Because you said some
that's right.
real nice
that was
things.
the wholesome. Oh man, now it can never be brought
And
back.
then there were times when I would be like, "Wow, Dan, that was actually a really nice thing for you to say," but it was totally ruined by the fact that you were just wah, 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 wah. And then I'm over here like, yeah, Dan, good job.
Listen. The lesson here is if I'm wholesome, it ruins the podcast. That's what I'm getting out of this.
That's not the lesson. The lesson here is that no one ever messages me when the episodes are good.
Yeah, honestly, also same.
That's not true.
You guys,
McCain messages you all
Who's
the time.
messaged me?
McCain.
I have never gotten a
That's
message
true,
about
yeah.
a good episode, only about problems.
But McCain messages me normally. Like, we talk on a normal basis.
You know what? That's fair. No,
I wish
I
someone
don't
would
know.
tell me.
Not
I
a
was
lot of people
impressive.
message me about it. I think my brother has messaged me.
But you brought it up the last, 6 weeks.
That's an exaggeration. He did not bring it up that many times.
about
You
people
didn't know it was just fronting?
about people messaging
know
me
it's trying
about
to
the
style on us?
podcast.
Well, you brought it up last week, and you brought it up to
Did
them.
I bring it up last week?
You did. That's why I was.
I don't remember him bringing it up last week, but that's
I don't
fine.
think I did.
Trust me, my pride is hurt enough that he brought it up last week.
I don't think
That's
I did.
fair.
I just finished editing it last night, and I don't remember that.
You brought it up in recent memory, within the last, at least within the last month, but I'm pretty sure it was last week.
So I think it's probably just.
I only remember because
I mean, fine. I'll say who
you mentioned
messaged me.
it.
It was my freaking mom because she's finally
I was
getting
gonna
around to listening
ask,
to
but
my
I
entire
didn't want to
podcast.
ask because I didn't want to call you
Oh,
out like
no.
that.
And if we're being
Your mom
honest,
listens to the
she
podcast.
does.
That was my
And
reaction.
And
Oh no!
Jackson is so crude.
Now she's gonna hear all this too, which I feel bad for.
yeah.
I've called her out on the
Jackson
podcast
is
before,
crude.
and she's
I
listened
know
to
his
the whole
mom.
thing.
It's true. I'm pretty sure last
I'm
time
sorry
we
you have
did
to hear
also
all the
say
horrible
that
things I
Jackson was
say.
crude. I would apologize, but at this point, I have too much pride to do anything other than keep inflating myself.
Yeah, she said.
You know what?
Dan
Fair.
Dan says the F word a lot, doesn't he? And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like to stop a stutter or something. Like, you know.
It is. That is exactly what it's for. Thanks for that. Thanks for calling me out on this public forum. I appreciate that.
No, I was using it as an example of kind of like what's his name, the actor.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, what's his
It'd be
name?
cool if it was Jake Gyllenhaal.
The Black Jedi.
Yeah, you'll,
I cannot remember his name for the life of
Samuel
me.
Jackson?
Samuel L. Jackson. Thank you
you're
so
correct.
much.
He is the only Black Jedi that ever appears in the movies. But whoa!
Dan, don't turn this into a bigger thing than it is. You know exactly that is the easiest way to describe who he is when I can think of nothing
It's
other
true.
than his face.
That or Snakes on a Plane guy.
You know, the swearing bald actor. Would that
I mean,
have helped?
that actually would have
that
helped.
would
Yeah.
help, probably.
Because that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Not
all
as
I
much
could.
as Black Jedi though. Black Jedi is like the best descriptor you could use for what Mace Windu.
Honestly, I would have even taken angry black guy if I'm being 100% with you.
Wow.
I would've too,
How
but
on
then
earth is that better than Black Jedi?
And if you said disappointed black guy, I would have thought you meant Idris Elba.
Mm-hmm.
Because every role he has, he's just like your dad who's disappointed in you.
I like
Thanks, Idris Elba.
I like Idris Elba though. I'm not gonna lie.
I love Idris
do
Elba,
too.
but he's just a disappointed dad in every single role.
You're
You
not
ever seen
wrong.
Prometheus? The entire movie, he's like, guys.
Prometheus
Team
is a good
friendo.
time. Well,
Prometheus
no,
is
it's
a
not a
good
good time. It's a time.
No,
Yeah,
maybe he's in
that's fair.
Alien Covenant. He's in one of those two movies, but he's in one of the newer Alien movies.
I think it's Prometheus.
And he's just like a disappointed ship captain.
I'm 99% sure it's Prometheus. I have very little memory of. I don't think I saw Covenant. Actually,
He's got Danny McBride in it.
Hmm.
They call him, what do they call him? Not Tallahassee. Dallas, maybe? Tex. They call him like one of those like southern names. Tennessee, maybe. But he just plays like a southern man in space. But he's got a cowboy hat and everything. It's pretty bad.
Speaking of Southern
That's
men in
pretty great.
space. You know
Yes,
what?
continue with that.
No, I was just gonna bring up because you reminded me. I've listened to a lot of like review stuff lately, and it still blows my mind that people didn't like Solo, a Star Wars story.
I've not seen it.
I didn't expect you to have. I think you saw it, didn't you, Noah?
I did. I'm the one that told you to watch it. I said,
You
Dan,
are, that's right.
You'll really like this movie. It's cowboys
And you were
in
right.
space.
It's cowboys in space.
I would like that movie.
It
Honestly,
was a great time.
You remember Cowboys versus Aliens or whatever that train wreck of a movie was?
No, I remember it existing, but I do not remember watching
You remember
it.
Firefly?
I paid for that movie.
I
think
remember
I own
that
the
people care a lot
Blu-ray.
about it.
Not Firefly.
Did you ever watch Firefly or Serenity,
Yeah.
Jackson?
No, I just remember that people care a lot about them on Tumblr.
They did. That's what I would compare it to more than fucking Cowboys and Aliens.
See,
but if I may about Solo,
I was just going to say
it
it's
features
superior option to Cowboys and
well,
Aliens.
yes,
but
that's
continue.
not even literally
Solo
anything
features
is a superior option.
actress Emilia Clarke, better known for her role as Daenerys Targaryen in Game of Thrones, which is over now.
But that is over now, and people are real mad about it.
I disagree, but
I mean,
they are mad about it. I disagree that there's a right to be mad.
I mean,
I
I
think
would
to an
agree.
extent there's a lot of problems in season 8, most of which are 90% of my problem with season 8 is they think fighting solves. They think that fighting is a means to move the plot forward,
rather than a piece of. Never mind. Yeah.
and there are at least a dozen times in the season where. Oh, also I did watch season 8 because I used my friend's HBO Go.
Nice.
Now, granted, I have not watched season 7, but
It's fine.
season 8's like half the length, right?
Sure.
It's only 6 episodes. I was like, that's 6 hours. I can do that. I don't have a job right now.
I mean, you do now, but you didn't at the
Well, I
time.
do now, but this was like last week when I did not, before I went to West Virginia. And I gotta say, the majority of the problem is just thinking battles are better for moving the plot along than dialogue, and then making every major bomb drop question the end of a scene. Like
I mean, that's fair.
Like, they think Jon Snow saying, "Yeah, but important thing, right?" is like, all right, cool. Now they don't have to respond. Let's end the scene. Whereas up until that point, Game of Thrones is all about like, but important thing, right? And people were like, huh, I suppose so. And this is probably the best course of action to take. And they talk about it and people react to it. Like when you have actresses like Sophie Turner, who is very talented, and you make another important character like Emilia Clarke, another talented actress, ask her an important question, you should focus on the character's reaction to said bomb being dropped and then allow them to have a rebuttal as a well-spoken, eloquent queen. But instead they're like, bomb drop, scene end, battle time. They actually do that before like the biggest battle in like the show. They drop like a huge bomb question and they don't answer it.
Fucking amazing. I hate it. I hate that a lot.
It's so like that is the most frustrating part. The actual outcome of things I don't really care about. It's just like the frustrating degradation of like storytelling in the last season is the only problem I have.
That's fair.
The events are cool. If they would have had 20 minutes less of battles and 20 minutes more of dialogue in every episode, the season would have been fine.
You know what? That's very fair. I get that.
And I mean, it's kind of like one of those problems where there's no way to make season 8 of Game of Thrones be anywhere near as good as like season 2.
That's fair.
Which in my opinion is the second book and the second season are the best. Now, the only reason I say the second season, I haven't watched the season, but I've been told it's identical to the book. And that book is actually like the best in the series.
I'm trying to remember what happens in that book. I'm sorry.
It's the Clash of Crowns. It's like where the 5 kings like
Is that the season with the Red Wedding?
No,
I think
that's
that's the Storm of Swords. That's season 3.
I was gonna say I think that wasn't in book 2. That was in like book 3.
That's book 3, and then Purple Wedding's book 4.
I haven't gotten to the Purple Wedding.
Book 2 is the one with like Robb being king in the north.
Yeah. The one where things are actually happening like all across the world.
Yeah, Theon's dad in the Iron Islands, Renly Baratheon, Stannis Baratheon, and then Cersei in King's Landing.
Did they?
Not really Cersei. It's more like her father.
I thought they had to have introduced Daenerys by then.
Yeah, no, she was in it from season 1, but she's in Essos at that point.
She's in Fuck Off McFarland.
Yeah, that's when she's off in like the islands, just J chillin', getting armies and stuff.
Yes, that is how you describe what happens there. Yes, absolutely.
J chillin'. There was like an episode where she was J chillin'.
Probably, yeah, 1 maybe.
She does. I think like season 4 is when she's J chillin' the most. No, I think book 5 is when she's J chillin' the most. Because at that point she's like in charge of everything around her.
Yeah, because I remember
and then she stops J
had a
Chillin
long
and
time
goes
of
to
her like
Westeros.
trying to be in charge of things, and it just wasn't happening.
Yeah, it was like the first forever. I like Game of Thrones though. I think it's good, and I'm excited that it's over in a sense because it's got like a final ending. You know, although in 5 years, predicting that they're gonna make Game of Thrones Brotherhood and do what they did with Full Metal Alchemist.
That would be ridiculous, and I would love that.
I would also love
like
it.
If the
angry,
final
don't get me
books
wrong,
came out
but I'd
and
be
they just
very
remade the
amused.
show. Well, and that's what they did with Full Metal Alchemist. They're like, all right, we've got enough manga for half a series. And they're like, let's wing it, boys. We've done the first half. Let's finish it. And then when the manga finished, they just redid the rest.
I think it would be
very
really
fun.
funny if that happens, mainly because the first like 5 seasons will be entirely identical to what they used to be.
That's how the first like dozen episodes of Full Metal Alchemist are in Brotherhood. It's the same story. It's just more rushed so they could get to the end faster.
Nice. I thought that the first few episodes felt a little rushed. That makes more sense.
In Brotherhood, yeah, there's like a weird ideal watch order for Full Metal Alchemist. There's like someone made like probably on Reddit, but I've seen like a chart of like how you should watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the early episodes of the regular Full Metal Alchemist are better because they're less rushed, but the back end of Brotherhood is exponentially better than the regular Full Metal Alchemist. But that's not the most annoying anime timeline. Outside of the Monogatari series, which I don't even understand enough to explain, Blue Exorcist, another really good anime that you guys should watch on Anime Night, does this thing where they do what Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood did, where they're like, okay, let's remake this because it was bad at the end because we didn't have the source. And instead they just are like, what if we just remake it leaving where like episode 16 left off? So you have to watch the first 16 episodes of regular Blue Exorcist and then stop and not watch the ending. And then switch over to Blue Exorcist Kyoto Saga and watch that.
That is beautiful.
Is it?
It's absolutely massive brained.
It is. That is the best thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
It's hilarious. And here's the kicker. I saw Kyoto Saga come out and I'd watched the first like dozen episodes or so back in the day and read some of the manga. I saw Kyoto Saga come out. I'm like, oh, they made a second season. Cool. I'll watch Blue Exorcist again, watch the entire thing, and then after I'd seen like the ending and everything, they were like, yeah, you shouldn't be watching the ending, you should just switch to Kyoto Saga at this episode. But at that point, I had already just watched like 10 episodes I didn't need to, and I just didn't ever watch it.
That is very good, to be 100%.
It's incredibly frustrating.
I love that. I mean, I hate it. I hate that that's something that you had to do, but at the same time, that is hysterical.
It's very funny to me. Like, in hindsight, I'm like, oh, that what a kicker.
What a
and I don't think they renewed Kyoto Saga for season 2 because of how confusing it came out.
Speaking of insane timelines, did we talk about Homestuck on the podcast? Was that something we had Edge on to do?
We're not diving.
I don't want to talk about Homestuck.
Well, firstly, we're not talking about it now because this is the time to wrap up the episode.
No, that's fair. I'm asking a genuine question because someone brought it up to me last night.
I believe we touched on it when Edge was here, but I don't think we touched on it more than, wow, what a crazy fan base that is. And I think that was about it.
Okay. Because
actually, Super Hulakians are still out there.
They're
right, guys. Where we got roll call.
That is what we ended on there as well. All right, Jackson, where can we find you?
Yeah, I gave my Instagram out earlier. It's got Mothman pictures on there now. Instagram.com/Jacksonium with 2 M's. I can find me in the same place on Twitter, and that's about all you can find me at.
Nice. And Dan, can we also find you at Jacksonium with 2 M's?
You can actually, but you can also find me, more directly at twitter.com/BornRule57 or twitch.tv/BornRule. Either of those places where I am actually been reasonably active lately. I've had my life a little bit more together now that school's done, and I've been streaming not every night, but every couple of nights at least, which has been a blast. I found Noah, did you get to tune into me playing Undead Stardew Valley?
Yeah, I did actually. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. Come on by, say hi, tell me that you hated the episode, and because that's what you do now. That's what we decided, right? That was what happened this episode. We decided that everyone should message us and tell us about how they hated our episodes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, cool. And tell me about how my movie opinions are wrong. That's my favorite.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
I mean, listen, if more people would tell me that my movie opinions were wrong, I would get into much more arguments on Twitter.
Anyway, like I was trying to say, you can find me at Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch as Bubbadabad, Bubbadad. Come, chill, hang out, talk to me. The huge. That's about all I got for me. But you can find the podcast on a variety of platforms. You know, review us on your
All
favorite
the platforms.
Review us on your favorite listening site. You know, just if you do it on something that's not iTunes, let me know because I won't see it, and I would love to actually like give you a shout out for your review, but I won't remember otherwise. You can let me know in our Discord server, which you can find on our Twitter at twitter.com/theofftheair. Facebook.com, you can go there, facebook.com/OTA podcast. We pretty much do nothing other than just let you know when the episode goes live there, but hey, it's a hobby, right? You can support us monetarily if you really feel like it at patreon.com/offtheair.
Please don't. We don't deserve it.
That's probably true. But hey, you know, why not? And
but
finally,
also do because we don't deserve it.
As Jackson mentioned earlier in the episodes, you can listen to us on YouTube. And if you do that, then you'll have easier access to his Mothman pictures, which are absolutely golden.
They exist.
They're my favorite things I've seen all day.
Ouch.
Hey, where's the lie?
See better things.
Also, just found this out right now. Dr. Stone is getting an anime in July, so that's exciting.
Dr. Stone?
It's an anime about the world's population entirely gets like turned to stone, like Medusa style.
Nice.
And they start waking up one by one, and like all like technology and everything's lost.
Interesting.
And so this dude who is like a technology dude and like scientist starts like using science to rebuild things, and that's like his fighting style, more or less. Is just having a superior technology.
Nice.
It's like imagine you have to fight a world of cavemen, but you have a gun.
I'm pretty sure that was just the plot of Endgame.
Bro, ain't nobody seen that movie.
Yeah, that was really, really
I sure
underground.
haven't.
All right, cool.
I mean, I sure haven't seen it.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Tune in next week.
Bye.